right. I think that we are good to go, folks. Thank you for being here. This session is being recorded and will be made available to you. Welcome, welcome. It's an exciting time here at EXP, right? You get to choose. And these sessions we've been doing, we're calling it the 100 days that you'll have made a decision. Let me get this out of the way. If you were on KV Core, you should be on BoldTrail by now. What is the difference? Should you care? You should. It's the latest and greatest. Think of it as the next evolution of KV Core. You're not missing anything that you had. If you did love, I hope you did KV Core, but if you haven't made a decision yet, or you did make a decision, you're with KV Core, you're now on BoldTrail. So that's what we're here to talk about. We're talking about how to get started. My name is Brett Kay. I'm a senior product trainer with Inside Real Estate. And it's my privilege to share some knowledge with you, hopefully make a decision easier. And if you are using the platform, you know what to do next, okay? This one right here, this session we're doing, folks, it's essential. Yes, we will get in the software. I'm going to run through some slides for a bit, okay, to set the stage for what we're going to see next. How is it organized? How do I organize it? How do I know where my people are? How do I know where that fella is that wants the pool looking in San Diego? It's essential that you understand this first. So bear with me. We're going to talk about how leads are organized and where you come in. Because the good news is, after we have to decide a few things, is it a buyer or is it a seller? Is it a prospect? Is it a new lead? Well, then you can call it whatever you want. And we call those hashtags. So that's what we're going to focus on today, the client journey. The client journey is essential. All the statuses and types, they relate to this. So what we're doing here today is really showing you, and whether you've imported leads or not, I mean, if you haven't, this applies. If you have, this applies. I would say it's a bit easier to navigate if you know this stuff before you import your leads, but all is not lost. Now, I'm not going to go through what the differences between BoldTrail and any of our friendly neighborhood software platforms you can choose from. Okay, I'm going to focus on what BoldTrail can do. Everyone has its strengths, and I truly believe that. Now, you know, here at Inside Real Estate and BoldTrail, we like to believe, and it is our mission to give you one thing that you can run your whole business with. So hopefully you'll see if that makes sense for you and your business. So with that, I'm sure you've all seen the funnel before, right? The client journey is related to that. And what I'm going to do is illustrate how our statuses, a prospect, a new lead, a client, are related to these stages of, you know, it's really, the client funnel. Call it a lead funnel, call it a sales funnel. You know, first, they're aware of you. You got a lead. Okay. Now, okay, now I'm shopping on your website. And remember, if you've been to any of our sessions to this point, or if this is your first one, our mantra here at Inside Real Estate for BoldTrail is stop the search. Stop their scroll, meaning we don't want them searching on someone else's website, friends. That is not how this works. Whatever solution you decide to go with for the rest of your career, they need to be on a website that's connected to your CRM and your MOS so that you have real-time engagement opportunities for these folks. Okay, so now I'm checking out listings. I'm, you know, maybe reading some reviews. I make a decision, right? We all know this. And we're going to connect the statuses that you're about to learn in the BoldTrail platform to all of these stages. Okay, let's do it, right? Let's go see a house. Let's sign some paperwork. I want to buy my home or list with you. Okay, so now we're in contract. It's after the fact. And folks, this one always blows me away. I know you've seen some similar statistics. Over 90% of folks that worked with you, an agent, say they would work with them again, but less than 10% actually do. Why? How is that possible? You're leaving money on the table. You know, aside from the fact that what happened to that relationship with that client you got, you know, hopefully so got along so well with, you know what I mean? And that's where this platform can also really show you some results, show you some uh, effective profitability. Let's call it that, that your efforts are actually impacting your income, right? We want to keep them. It's not just to buy, it's not just to sell, it's everything in between, and then again and again and again till the end of time. I mean, that's the way I'm seeing it. So at the top of the funnel and of the company. Oh, and might I take a pause for a moment and be very thankful. One of my colleagues, the senior support person here, Delaney, who's answering some chat questions, and I'd like to thank her for her time, and be nice to her, please. And we're doing the best we can. So I've not quite seen your questions. I'm going to be leading this through, but we'll chat here and there throughout the presentation. So I want to, my thanks to her and for all of you. Okay, we're back at the top of the funnel. Who are you? Right? You know, some of the classes we'll do here at Inside Real Estate for BoldTrail are how to drive traffic to your website through social media. We're not talking about that today, but let's say you did, rather you paid for it, rather you did it through your own efforts using the tools and the platform. I'm now aware of you. Doesn't mean you're my deal yet. And here's a lot of places where I find that agents often miss out on opportunity. I'm just browsing. Maybe in 6 months. Maybe in 3 months, I'm not sure. I don't know what I'm doing yet. We want all these people. You want all these people because things change. If they clicked on something, they were interested for some reason, and the longer we continue to nurture that relationship is how we're going to win that business over time. Right time, right message, stop their search, get them on your BoldTrail website or whatever website you're using. Folks, a half a year to 2. I got a lead today. You're my lead. Now, are there exceptions? Of course. You know, it happens all the time. That's why referrals and past clients are so powerful, as you all know. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't give up. We should continue to nurture, because over time, folks, you're going to hit think of it as a real estate snowball effect. Okay? Well, how do you get them there? That's up to you. We have lots of ways to do that. In the system, we call these new leads and prospects. Check it out up here, up right. These are 2 of the first statuses I'm introducing you to. What's a new lead? They signed up on your website. What's a prospect? Someone that you imported or added individually, which, by the way, we do have a team to help you import, no cost. Just get it to a spreadsheet from wherever it lives and give it to us. And now that you know this would make your experience way more effective, and a lot less time going, where do I go? What do I start? Kind of thing. So a prospect is someone you don't know yet. You hope to know them. I have a name, maybe a number, maybe a telephone, maybe you just have an address, any and all these. And remember, along the way, we have the concept of like a buyer and a seller, right? A buyer and a seller. So keep these 2 things in your mind. Let's keep on going. So at the second part of the funnel, consideration, I'm thinking about who are you? Why should I work with you? This is where you get an opportunity to really shine, provide items, communication, emails, texts, calls of high value content. What's that? You tell me. We have many things or many suggestions in some of our trainings, but we need to really think about, what am I giving you that you can't just Google? I mean, that's fair. I'm sure you'd all agree. So keeping these things in mind, I'm trying to figure that out. So this is when we really need to not be overwhelming with our communication, but not drop the ball either and going, well, they said they're just browsing. I'm not going to contact them for 3 months. You might have lost them by then. When they are ready, the system's going to let you know, folks, when they save a property as a favorite, when you got a text, an email. The system will literally call, text, and email you to let you know that someone's reaching out and you should engage them at this moment if you can. Right? And we're not just limited to the buy side. Think about that too. I might be looking at new homes. Why? Because I'm getting ready to list my home and I want to see where I'm going next. This is a powerful time. We call these active new leads and prospects. Now, we're going to have overlaps, of course, in all these scenarios. Prepare to have your mind blown, friends. The system, BoldTrail, let's say here's a use case, business use case. You have one of your people, or many of your peoples, hopefully all of your peoples, on some kind of property search alert or an area market report. They're going to your website, they're checking out new properties, they're clicking on properties, they're scrolling around, right? When those folks that are on one of those alerts, of which you have 5 actually, valuations, seller reports, property search alerts, area market reports, and smart drips. If they respond, the system automatically moves them to active, and you drive from here on out in the system. But you know that they responded via text, email, or a logged call. Think about that. How easy to, not easy, but how powerful that you can say, hey, show me everybody that's active in my system, which you can do, and you'll know they responded. Now, to be fair, doesn't mean that I said I want to buy a house or list with you. It just, I responded in some way. I'm just browsing. I'm a cash buyer. I love real estate, whatever the case may be, I'm considering it. But think about the time frames and don't get discouraged when someone says they're just browsing. So now I'm making a decision, right? We know, feeling familiar, this is how it goes. I'm connecting these stages of that process, hopefully, to you in a way that you can connect them to the stages of the client journey, which is how this whole system is organized. And if you start from there, then hopefully it's smooth sailing and you're going to do more than you've ever done before. So I'm making a decision. We call these contract and client. Now, what's interesting, we have smart campaigns. They're drip campaigns. They're drip campaigns that contain emails and texts that go out to your client, tasks, call reminder for you, the agent, to do along the journey of that campaign. Yes, you can change them. Yes, you can edit them. No, you don't have to use them, but you got to follow up somehow. When we're in the client or contract stages, our campaigns are built just to be reminders, because why? As soon as they hit active, that active client, whether it be, or excuse me, active buyer or active seller, before they become a client, you're talking to them. We're not. None of our campaigns are designed in these stages of the client journey. You're handling communication 100%. Now, presumably they're getting property search alerts along the way until we've written an offer, at least. And I've had a client or two that to this day still get search alerts, even though they're happy as heck in their home. Top of mind, they want to list. Who are they going to call? That's my hope. And you all should be thinking the same way. We need them on your website. If you have them currently on your MLS and you're sending them properties, okay, great. How shall I put this in the most delicate and professional way, in that this doesn't work unless they're going to your BoldTrail website. You have many ways to optimize it, change it, customize it. It's connected to the platform in a way that gives you the opportunity to give the right message at the right time, however you want to communicate. That is essential in us converting this when they're ready to be converted. Let's think about that. People talk about, oh, I'll convert this lead. You can't convert anybody. Nobody can. All you can do truly is be there at the right time with the right message. That's the conversion part of you following up on your people. Fortune is in the follow-up, people. Okay, we're at the bottom of the funnel now. We're at loyalty. That means we won. Okay, our sphere of influence, SOI, past clients. Now we're moving them to the sphere stage. Yep, we got a campaign for that. Our smart campaigns, you bet. Homeowners, renters. We even have anniversary emails and text, home anniversary. You can just flip the switch on the day that you sold them, so that then the next year, you didn't even have to think about it, that they're getting it's been a year already type of email. And we also have birthday emails and texts. We have holiday emails and texts. When you think about, well, what should I say? Let's us not forget, you also have Smart Assistant. When you're writing an email in the system, essentially it's BoldTrail's version of ChatGPT, contained within our ecosystem, all of us together collectively. We call these sphere, we call these closed. Hopefully everyone's it's like, okay, I know all this stuff. How does this all connect? Well, the status, when I talk about those drip campaigns, smart campaigns, and let's just say that you saved a property. You're my lead. I'm sending you properties in San Diego, California. You click on one of those properties I send you and you save it as a favorite. We have something called behavioral automation in the platform that will let you know as soon as that happens. So you're closing escrow, and they're like, hey, yo, Brett over here just saved 123 Main in San Diego as a favorite. Do you want to reach out? In the situation where you can't or don't want to for whatever reason, we send them a text for you. We send them an email for you based on that property. Think of that powerful intelligence. That's what's helping convert these at the right time. Those are all connected to what you just learned. Active, client, contract, close, new lead, prospect. And then, of course, we have deal type, right? Buyer, seller, renter. And, I know at EXP, unless something's changed, there's some incentive to recruit new EXP professionals. We even have an agent type, if that's your thing. Hashtags are where we create our own statuses, our own deal types, our own categories, our own way to call them whatever you want. They're interested in a pool. 1 to 3 months, cash buyer, FHA, approved, pre-approved, VA loan, 1031 exchange, must have willow trees, horses, and on and on and on. It can be anything. You just don't use spaces. And then finally, where it came from, that source. So I've been taking a bit of time, and we're doing good here because I want to get in a live drive for you. But take a peek. This is a screenshot, and I'm looking at the EXP. It's a little, or the EXP world's a little behind me. Let this catch up a little bit. But what I'm looking at right now is a screenshot of a contact record. What I'm doing is breaking it down for you, hopefully that you don't just see a lot of words on the screen, all right? I'm highlighting here the client journey. We just discussed all of these briefly. There's my sphere, my prospect, my new lead, my active, my client, my contract, my close. We have campaigns for every single one of these, including the concept, the delineation of buyer and seller. No, you can't create your own. Yes, everyone's got to be in at least one of these. And a buyer or a seller. You could be both. You could be a buyer and a seller, but I can't be a sphere and a prospect. With me? We have campaigns for all of these. As I move them through this client journey, as I change a status, now we don't need to know this today, but just listen to this. If for a moment, let's say that you're like, yeah, okay, cool. I got campaigns turned on and activated for all of these. You don't have that right now. You have most of them turned on, but not all, as a default. If I change a status, it changes the campaign for me, drops the old and adds the new. These are people I know. These are my past clients. These could be family. Do not hesitate to put everybody you know in here and drive them to that website in some way. And what I mean by that is it could just be a happy Halloween email or a happy 4th of July email. We got to keep top of mind. They're going to talk to somebody who talked to somebody who talked to somebody that is interested in real estate. So that's our sphere status. I hope they'll be a client, at some point, but I don't know. These are lists. Maybe you have an old list. And when I say old list, think about that number I threw out there, 6 to 24 months. The average time to, someone starts searching. Now I'm getting serious. I've been pre-approved. I'm looking at homes. I'm starting to work with the client. You know what I mean? So that's going to be the prospect, either buyer or seller. A new lead, someone that signed up on your website, however they got there. You could have paid someone. You could go through us. We have in our marketplace, you can pay through Inside Real Estate to generate leads, but you don't have to. You could go straight to the source, if you will. Maybe you want to buy Zillow leads. Maybe you already know how to create Facebook leads and you're good at it. Great. Then connect them and drive them to this website, okay? I'm coming back. And folks, I promise I'm not wasting your time because everything that we'll talk about in the system is related to this client journey. If you got this wrapped around in your head, then you're already almost there. You don't have to learn everything. That's what I'm trying to hopefully, have come across to you, that I don't have to learn all this stuff. Just understand, get all your people in, make sure they're organized in the way that makes sense to you, following this blueprint. And then follow up and generate new leads and close business and repeat. And you can just turn this thing on autopilot. Okay? If I respond, text or email, it'll automatically move you to active. That would drop that old campaign and add that new campaign, which I explained earlier. The active, client, and contract phases of the client journey and the campaigns, the drips that are associated with them, they're all task-based for you. No communication is going out from the system except for what you do personally. You know, if you think about it, you're going to most likely start in one of these 3 stages when you hit the system back over here on the left. You're either a sphere, you're a prospect, or you're a new lead. Then from there on out, I'm driving you to close. Now, in terms of the call aspect, if you called me last week, let's say, and I'm one of your leads that you're working with, and you talked to me, but you're like, well, I called him. You didn't call him through the system, because remember, you all got a mobile app. You got 2 mobile apps. You have an open house mobile app, and you have the agent app, which is a predictive dialer. You can access your MLS, email, text, see activity of people, clicking on your website. Behavioral automation linked to this as well. When an active lead clicks on a property, they look at this 1, 2, 3 main 3 times. We're going to let you know and engage them based on that behavior. And again, yes, you can change the messages that are sent, and yes, you can review them if you want, but just know these have been vetted, tested, and I'm not exaggerating when I say well over hundreds of thousands of times. We know it gets response. Keep it in mind. But it is your business, and you can decide what comes out of the system. Client, task-based campaign, you're working with them. You signed the agreement to work with you, buyer list side, right? We're showing properties. Most likely you're getting those properties wherever you're looking. We're looking at houses. We're having back and forths, which, by the way, on the client record, you see everything they clicked on, every communication. Folks, we're even letting you know when they open an email and actually clicked in something in the email as well. That can be powerful on where you focus on your efforts in any given day, because you only have so much time, right, to do anything. It's getting so busy out there. This system's, the design is to help you deal with that. We wrote an offer, and along the way, remember when I clicked you through and I moved you to contract, because I did, the system didn't. The only time it moves them to active is when they respond in this new lead or prospect status. That's it. It doesn't happen with Sphere. We move it to active for you, and then you decide where and when it is client, when it is contract, and when it's finally closed. Along the way, it's dropping the old campaign and adding the new. Now, the closed campaign, little pro tip here. I know I've heard some experiences from agents where I just imported all my leads, and the ones that were past clients I put in as closed, which technically is not incorrect, but the way that our campaigns are designed are as if you close them here in the system. I just walked them through the client journey, client, contract, close. Doesn't mean you couldn't go change our existing campaign and make it a one-size-fits-all for your past clients, but the intent, at least the default design, is your past clients come in with Sphere as Sphere, and you hashtag them past client. And that's how you find them, and that's how you manage them, and that's how you nurture them. But having said that, one thing I want you considering, if you're on the fence if you should use BoldTrail or not, or just to best practices because you are using BoldTrail, which used to be KV Core if you came in late, right? It's now BoldTrail, is I can change any of these. I don't have to turn any of them on. This is just one way. We're trying to help you save time, those tedious things that I can't call you every day for the next 6 months, and then you're going to be ready at month 5, day 2. How are you going to be there at month 5, day 2? You put them on a campaign. You put them on search alerts. You make sure that they're categorized correctly and follow up accordingly. Friends, family, past clients, just looking next year, right? Now, you will see the archive status when we pick a status here. And I promise, just here at the half hour, I'm going to get into the software so we can actually put our hands on it. But archiving, these are people, personally, I never delete a lead. Ever. Never, ever. Because something changes always. Anecdotal example. Friend, just got married, just had a little baby, I'm not looking for at least a couple years. See them in like, I think it was 5-6 months. And they bought a house, and they didn't do it with me. Why? Because I took them completely off the list, didn't I? Because they said they weren't looking. And it was a really hard lesson to really understand. All I should have done was keep sending them like a holiday card or something, or just checking in every 3 months, and hope the baby's going great, or if anything changes, let me know. There are some leads you're not going to be able to delete. So don't get frustrated about that. Archive them. Why? Because they were assigned to you from a company. A beautiful thing about this platform, folks, that really separates it from some of our competition is lead privacy. Although you'd never see it, no one like me, your administrator, your manager inside real estate can see your personal leads. They are labeled as private. I can see it exists. I can see it's a prospect or a closed or a sphere, but it's private to the entire company, and vice versa. If I'm your office, let's say you're part of the San Diego EXP office, and I am the office person, and I assign you a lead for whatever reason. I don't know if they do that or not. Everyone's different. You won't be able to delete it. It'll be grayed out. That's the design of the system. So archive it. Now, you could tell your office person they can delete it. If you really absolutely 100% can't see that lead in your system, just archive it. I won't spend too much time on this. I know you all understand the concept of buyers and sellers connecting to the new lead, the prospect, the active, the client. We have these 5 types that exist in the system. You can have multiple types, because sometimes I'll say, well, okay, I get it. You're saying I should put my past client from last year, last month into Sphere. But what if they're not really a buyer or seller anymore? Call them both. You got to pick at least one. You can pick 2 and then hashtag them exactly what they are. Hashtags can be searched on. Hashtags have power in the platform. I can have a hashtag start a smart drip campaign. I can have a hashtag auto assign a property search alert. I could search show me everybody that has the hashtag pool. Pull that group of people up because I've been hashtagging them pool. Hey, guess what? I just got a listing that has a pool. How easy would it be to now share that listing for a pool? Insert your, description here. It could be anything. And then vendors, like home inspectors, people you work with for staging, maybe maintenance and driveways and roofs and all the things that connections we have with, and then agents, people like yourself. Okay, and then renters, Making sense so far? Hopefully. This is my favorite part of the system, because want to know why? Do you want someone to tell you how to run your business? I don't. Now, I appreciate someone showing me how I can run my business more effectively and profitably. And that's where hashtags come in. At least to the extent that you can call a person whatever you want. If I have to say, okay, he's a sphere, but I don't feel good about that. Maybe that just doesn't define it for you enough. Okay, he's a sphere patio furniture here is a sphere and a seller. I'm looking at a contact record, just a screenshot. But what else are they? And I would stress this to all of you that haven't yet imported your leads, or if you have, think about going through your people and hashtagging them in a way that makes sense to you, because I can do this in mass. I could pull up this list that you just imported. And I could say, well, these are all from X source, or these people are looking in Murrieta, California. Okay, and I'm starting to categorize and focus them down even further, because that's how this works. Because you still got to know what you're, who are these people and how can I help them? Hashtags help do that for you. So if you look over here on the left, my little screenshot, they asked a question: a VIP past client, a newsletter list. Notice there's no spaces. That's all you got to do to create a hashtag. In fact, unless you're creating a contact for the very first time, you don't even need the hashtag symbol. Just write it. It could be one word. Maybe it's pool. Friends and family. Pop by list. I don't know what that is. Geo farming list. You have no limit, only you see them. And I can search and categorize and filter my entire database with hashtag. So folks, this is the most powerful thing, and to make it your own, that it makes sense to you. Is it a sphere or prospect? Is it a buyer or seller? And then hashtags are whatever in the world you want them to be. Some real ones I've used, 1 to 3 months. Here's some examples over here on the right. Here's a real one. Single story, no front step, big backyard. And that was all one hashtag. So my point being, can be whatever you want, however you want to organize your people. Okay, I can do this in mass, I can do it when I, on the fly, one by one, and when I import. Hashtags, they have power. Don't have to worry about cap sensitivity, upper, lower. Does need to be all one word. Doesn't require the hashtag symbol when created. Now for source, and this is our final 4 of what I wanted to focus on. We're going to live drive here in just a minute. If I import a leads, okay, so to import leads, I'm just going to show you. I think this is a good time for me to start getting off script here. When I'm in the platform, if I just typed in my Omni search import, by the way, if you're unfamiliar with BoldTrail and you haven't been in here before, I'm actually in it right now. And we have what we call our Omni search. This is to make your experience. So I don't have to look at any of this menu stuff on the left. I don't have to know where the quick start is located. I can type anything I want from any page and using this search to find it. So if I said, hey, how do I import? There's my lead engine bulk import. Now, granted, it's going to pull like actual addresses too, because it'll search your MLS, it'll search addresses, last names, first names, emails, phone numbers, and all that. So it's going to pull in, oh, here's something on import try, but down below are all the actual, features of the platform. I click over there, I'd go to bulk import. You're going to let us handle it. My point being that it's that easy, but once you get them into the platform, they're going to have a source that says import that you can target. If I paid Facebook, then I would have a Facebook source. If I'm doing my own lead generation efforts, I'm personally giving it a source so I know where it came from. Example, I just got a new listing. I'm going to post it to Facebook. I need to put in that I'm posting it to Facebook so the system knows. Now, if you're paying for it or have connected Facebook as a lead source, you see what I mean? So if I was importing a list, here's a good example to think about it. If I was importing a list of people, let's say you got them, I don't know, I'm not even going to use Zillow. I'm going to say from realtor.com, or maybe some old list, some farm list, doesn't matter. You got it to a spreadsheet. That's all we need. CSV, Excel, Google Sheets. But you might be thinking to yourself, well, I got them from realtor.com, so I'm going to put that in as the source. But technically, the source is importing it. You would just hashtag it realtor.com. Do you see what I mean? So there's some hard sources that come into the system, but you have control with hashtags. Let's get into the record. This is where it all happens, folks. This thing has been redesigned. It is amazing. And I know you see a lot, but may I remind us all once again, I'm getting all my people in. I'm going to make sure they're all categorized and organized in a way that makes sense to me. We've been having a fairly lengthy discussion about that. I'm about to connect the dots. And then I keep driving them to my website. I stop them searching wherever that is. Because if I go, real estate in San Diego right now, the likelihood that any of us individual agents are going to come up in that top 3 search is almost infinitesimal unless you got really deep, big budget. That takes a lot of money. Doesn't mean that all is lost. It just means that we have to use some other strategies to get them to our website. And social media is primarily the most powerful one we have right now. So when I look at a record, it's really divided into 3. Okay. In the upper left is the timeline. That is every single thing that's ever happened ever. The minute they hit the system, every property they picked on, email sent, text sent, call logged, smart campaign turned on, turn off, search alerts, all of it. Timeline. It puts it all holistically right here for you. So let's take a look at a client record for a minute. Let's just take a deep breath and look in here and not be overwhelmed. We've been discussing this client journey, right, folks? That's been my first half of this discussion. Close, contract, client, active. So you'll know where they're at in this stage of the client journey. Easy. And I can search, show me everybody that's active, show me everybody that's in client, show me everybody that's in client that's a buyer that has the hashtag pool or whatever. On the left, this is going to be, think of this as all the stats, the info. When they signed up, their name, their email, are they a buyer or a seller? Did I give them a hashtag? When they came in, what they've looked at, if anything. Center, underneath that client journey, is going to be the timeline. Folks, it probably looks too small on your screen. And by the way, you can zoom if you haven't yet. Just click on that screen in front of you, can make it big. You know what I mean? But this timeline, folks, if they, I know that says KV Core, it's BoldTrail, don't worry. Same thing here. Just I need to update this screenshot, apologies. But you still get a predictive score. Someone signs up on your website, we will give them a 1 through 5 star rating based on some various things. Like, did we get an email and a phone? Are they real? Did we check them? Did they look at a lot of properties? Kind of thing. And this adjusts over time. What does this say? I can barely see it. Based on the contact's behavior, we have updated their predictive score from 2 to 3. This will continue to occur over time. So think about this. Not sure who to contact today? With our predictive scoring, I could navigate over to my contacts. So for those of you following along, I just went contacts left-hand side, or I could have just typed contacts from any screen up top and get me to my CRM. Show me over on the left is my filter. You'll see I have some saved filters up here. I can create as many as I want. If you're an admin, you can create lead ponds for your people. But our focus here is going to be on the predictive scoring. So in that, if I went to, I believe it, is it this one? There it is, rating. Right under, all I did is I went to assigned or contact details, really, right here. And up at the top, it says rating. So throughout the platform, you're going to see, check it out on this record. I love this feature. It's often overlooked. And I think that having a focus on this could help a lot of you, as long as we got activity going on your website, right? 2-star, 1-star, 2-star, 1-star, 5-star. I could filter and say, hey, show me everybody that has, I don't know, 3 stars. I could do something with these people. I don't know. These people are active. They're coming back to my website. The website is letting me know, the platform, is letting me know these people are highly active. We've validated quite a few things about them. Not to belabor this point, but just think about this in terms of what do I do today? This is putting tech to work for you, folks. Okay. Predictive scoring, mind blower here. Back to my deck just for a bit. And then on the far right are all my automation tools. So if I'm looking at a contact record, this is kind of how it's laid out. So just think about what you're looking for. If I want to make a quick call, text, turn on a search alert, set an appointment, put on a smart campaign, send them an average valuation if I have their address. We have all this at our fingertips here. Okay, so there it is over on the left, all the details, where it came from. Did I give it hashtags? Is it a buyer seller? The predictive score. So when you see that insights, don't overlook this. Now, I will point out a pro tip for you here, friends. If I, Brett the agent, gave you Bold the lead a 5-star rating, which you can do. I could just say, this person's 5 stars. They are hot to trap. They are pre-approved. We get along great. They have the means. This is happening. And I give you a 5-star so I could search on 5-star people. That predictive scoring stops. Remember how I said it would go up or down over time? Because it could go down too. Maybe they, fell off the face of the earth and they went on vacation and Thailand for 3 months, and then you'd be like, they haven't been to my website. We would drop stars for them so you can, know how to focus on on the points of your platform, of your business, of your pipeline that are most likely to respond to you. And then we have the timeline. Think of this as absolutely everything. This is where we'll tell you if they saved a property, if they opened the email you sent last week, actually clicked in the email. And then on the far right, actions and automations. Make a call. Did you know that you can call from your laptop? We all have something called a smart number, friends. And if I may take a moment and save you all some, not headache, but just educate you here a bit. I went back to the platform. Doesn't matter what screen I'm on. Doesn't matter what screen I'm on. I'm in contacts right now. But if I click in the upper right on my avatar, my picture, there's me, there's my name. That's my office smart number. That's the email I log into the platform with. That's my website. So real quickly, I can find all these things. And if you have it, it depends. If you're newer, you may or may not have what we call Core Home. It's the consumer-facing app. It just kind of depends. But a couple things. The smart number, folks, don't call it. That's not what it's designed to do. It's designed to call you. It lets you know when someone signs up on your website. It lets you know when someone responds to one of your messages. If they called it, it calls you, as long as the system's the lead's in the system. So that smart number, when I say you can call someone, right now, if I wanted to call you, let's say I come up over here to the top. Here's a use case. Up top, BoldTrail. Okay, boom. I want to call a Bold agent. I pull him or her up. Over on the right, my actions, I make a call. I can call you right now. Now, they're going to see that phone number. Now, let's not get in the weeds on this, folks. We have lots of other trainings. I want to stay focused to my goal of having you kind of create a test lead here in a minute, if you will. We don't call it, it calls us. I'd add that number, not mine, but whatever yours is, to your cell phone as a contact. If it calls you, pick it up. If you want to test it, go for it, but you just can't use your own phone to do it, or another agent. So they would see that number on their caller ID. Now, if you use the mobile app, which is recommended from all our training, and let's remember in the upper right, folks, upper right, I just quickly went back to the main dashboard. I don't want to forget this one. We have self-paced training, a 4-part training series, videos, few little quizzes, and you have a trainer such as myself to help you along the way when you go through the live session that we offer, Monday through Thursday. We tell you how to do that stuff. Set up your profile, website, test lead. We're doing just a basic get started here to really flesh out how everything's organized and save you a heck of a lot of time. Just know this is available to you always, every week, excluding holidays. But main dashboard, agent quick start. You could also just type up top. You know what I mean? So back to my smart number. You don't call it, it calls you. That's how I can call from my laptop. If I call from my laptop or desktop, my client would see that number. If I call from my mobile app, which you all can download on the main dashboard, I just switched screens and went to the main dashboard when you first log in. Upper right, download mobile app. You click on that and you have specific links to text yourself so you can download because it's specific for you. So if you're doing this, just please don't just go to the Apple store and say, show me the BoldTrail. You'll find it, but you have one specific for you. Okay? Make sense? I hope. We don't call the smart number. Smart number calls us. It's going to help you make new leads. Folks, I can even generate text codes. We're not getting that today, but I can create text codes using that smart number. So back on my little slide deck here. That's where I can make a call, send a text. I can set an appointment. About to get in? Ready? I got 15, and I think we can do it. And I think the point here, and I totally agree with this slide. Folks, whatever you're using, and I sure hope it's BoldTrail, but whatever you decide to use for your business, get everything you know in there and make sure you're following up with them. And that, I think we can all wrap our head around. That's how I've seen it work, and to be fair, there's been a few folks that were new to this type of technology, and they're like, well, Yeah, I liked the BoldTrail bit, but it didn't generate good leads for me. And I said, well, what did you mean by that? How are you generating leads? She goes, what do you mean? I'm like, well, are you paying for it? Were you posting your listing to social media? How are you advertising it? She goes, well, I didn't do anything. I thought it generated leads for me for free. It does, through your own efforts. You either paying someone, the only way we're going to get them there is you got to get them there some way. It's not magic, not to be, sarcastic in any way. It's close, but get everybody to know in. Make sure they're organized the way that we've discussed here today, right? We're going to add a quick test lead. That's going to be my finale. Please don't use your own email that you log in with. So if you're jumping ahead, just hang tight a few moments. Folks, we have playbooks in this system. So you're out there, you're hearing this, and you're just like, I just don't have time for this. That's all of us. We have these real estate playbooks, one for your sphere of influence, past clients, and one for new listings that literally you can just click the play and let it play, and it will promote it for you. Yes, you got to click a few times, but I mean, I can notify my whole office. It writes an email for me. I can post it to Facebook in that long. Get them all in, make sure they're organized, but that's not enough. They got to be driven back to your website. Why? What are you offering that I can't find? Tough question nowadays, right? We need to nurture that relationship and make sure we continue. Let it do all the legwork, market reports. And if you're not familiar with that, think of that as a summary, and it's all on your website. Let's pull up your website real quick. From the platform, click on any screen, upper right, pick on your picture. And if your picture is not there, that means you haven't set up your profile yet, by the way. Please go to Agent Quick Start number 1. But if I pulled up my website, all these tools I've been talking about are here. We're driving them to your website for property search alerts. I'm driving them to your website for area market reports. How much is your home worth? Not to be confused with a real CMA, but it is an average estimate conversation starter, right? So if I was looking in some area here, just because you're here, I'm going to show you what a market report is. Think of it as a summary the past 30 days of a particular market. In the past 30 days, there were 10,000 homes for sale in San Diego. The average price per square foot was this. The average list price was that. The average sold price was this. So it's a great way to stay top of mind for those folks that are just browsing, maybe not looking seriously yet. Maybe they are, and it's still good data. So just make sure you're following up with them in some way. And at the very least, you should be at least creating a task to reach out to them personally if you don't have them on a drip. Because I work with some agents that get really, what's the word I would use? Not confident in the campaign because they don't know what they say and when they say it and do they say it that way. It's better than nothing in the sense that you got to reach out in some way. If you want to customize them, by all means, they're easy. Just rewrite the email, make it your own, but make sure you're doing something. Okay. Hopefully this is helping. Let me show you. This is your homework. Should you choose to do it, I'm going to show you how easy it is to add a contact and the 3 things I want you to think about. 3 things I want you to think about. So how do you create a contact? Well, if you're brand new to the system or thinking about coming to the system, we have a team that helps you import your leads. That would be a big step 1. Now, you've just attended this, and now hopefully you know a bit more about how it's organized. But again, I would point you towards that Agent Quick Start in the upper right when you first log in. Agent Quick Start. It's really easy. Well, I'm not saying super easy, but it's easy to access. It is easy. It's straightforward. And they're short videos, short little videos, way less than this class. The 1 hour and 20 is for all 4, just so you know. Right? We're going to get our people in. How do I add a contact? Guess what? You can do it from any screen, up top, middle right. Yes, I could use this super omni search. I could just click in here and notice what I have at the bottom. Add contact, log call, send email, add task, edit campaign. See what else we have in here. Looks like I have a few other things that have been added, but you get the idea. I could just quickly add a contact from here or come up top, add contact. So here's what you don't do. You don't use the email that you log in with, folks. And please don't put your actual agent phone number. And if you're not sure what that is, again, that's in your profile. If you clicked on your My Profile there real quick, this is where you upload the photo that shows on your website, your avatar. You're going to verify your cell phone because that's the only thing that's going to display on your website. That smart number is not for your display unless you buy your own. Okay. But everything I said is still true. Don't call it, it calls you. We can use it to stay in contact with our leads and generate new leads. On your website, however, you're going to put your cell phone in, your picture in, right? Your about me, your email signature. Just wanted to point out that's where that's at. Back on that main dashboard, let's add the contact. Now, you could go to contacts on the upper left, right underneath dashboard, but it doesn't matter because that add contact button's always following you around. I could just use the Omni search, add contact. Let's do it. So you're not going to use that email that you log in with. Let's call this Bold Journey. Email, put in a real one, but just not the one you log in with, because folks, it's like trying to test yourself. Put in a real cell phone, but not another agent's and not yours. You have to enable permission to contact. And folks, if you're not doing this with me, please make this a priority. If you want to really use the system, create a test lead, turn on the automation and watch it run. And along the way, you're going to see how it actually works and what you need to take out of it. Put in the name, not your email, not your phone, a real one. Yes, you have to enable permission to contact. I could put in my address. You might as well. This is where they would be living, for example, you know, to see how it displays on the contact record. I know we all can do this, you know. Put in your address. What's the lead type? Now I'm beating this one to death, I know, but let's go ahead and pick buyer as our type. We got to pick at least one. I could do two, but I'm just going to do one. What's the lead status? For this test, let's call it a new lead. So far you should have new lead buyer. Everybody with me? I'm going to put on the brakes here a minute if you're trying to follow along. We've just added the name, put in a different email than we log in with. I have permission to contact. There's my address. I'm a buyer. I'm a new lead. Which, just to remind everyone, that is someone who signs up on the website. I haven't spoken with you yet. If you're a new lead, I haven't spoken with you yet. Lead source, we went over this, right? Hello, I'm manually adding it. Even if I technically got this from Realtor, I'm still manually adding it. So leave that alone. And then you're going to be the owner. Now it's private. We're going to put on a drip campaign. We call them smart campaigns. And you're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. It's okay. This is the whole point of this. So you don't have to read an article and watch an hour-long video. Just put it on, folks. So click the smart drop down. And all I'm looking for is the system. I don't see it here, so we're going to add it together. I want the system. We have a new one, buyer campaign. So you don't see it. I'm going to show you how to add it. 2 seconds. I have 7 minutes. I can do it. So leave this screen for a minute. I'm going to come right back. I'm going to navigate over to the top. And what am I going to type in? Smart campaigns. So I don't even need to know where it was at. You can also find it through the marketing smart campaigns. So I know there's a lot here, and I'm not going in the weeds. I just want you to type in buyer and hit enter. Let's see what you have for buyer. Now, obviously, I have a, I'm an instructor, so I have a lot of testing. So there's a lot in here that you would never need. But what I'm looking for is the system buyer campaign. Well, what do you know? There it is, system default buyer. This is our newest, latest, and greatest. There are many others. To review it, all you got to do is click on the campaign's name. And then you're going to see everything that happens. Where do you edit it? You can't edit it until you clone it. But for now, would you trust me? Before we get into cloning it and editing it, just turn it on and check it out. You're just sending it to yourself. And all you got to do is over on the right, toggle it on. Everyone see that? There's this little toggle under status. So all I did is I typed in buyer. I selected system default buyer, which is anybody who signs up on my website that's a new lead. It says so. Status is new for a buyer. There are 21 actions in there. I'm going to turn the status on. And I will say to you this, folks. It is not retroactive. which means that it's not going to go attached to new leads and buyers that you already have in the system. It means from this moment forward, it's now available. So once I turn that on, I go back to my lead, hit a quick refresh because I just updated one of those campaigns. Now I could pick the system buyer, for example. Let's see what this is. Bold. See how I found it? Bold, 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 bold. We'll just use this guy. Same guy. Okay, so we were adding that contact. I was bold. I was Journey. This is how fast you can actually do it. I was bold. Journey. If you didn't yet, you should. You should do this, folks, because this is how you really learn it. I can tell you all day, this works, and I've seen that work, but until you actually click, that's where we're going to really get some connection here. I put in the address. I said I was a buyer. I said it was a new lead. Now I'm the lead owner. My smart campaign, what's that one we just picked? Well, there it is, system default buyer. Done. Folks, that's it. This is what I'm asking you to do. I'm going to go ahead and add that contact. Here's your homework until we meet next. And I'm teaching one on Wednesday at the same time, but it's a more advanced. We're going to get into some email templates. But here's your homework, folks. And this is homework that could impact your bank account. So I think it's pretty important. I'm a new lead. You can see that on the client journey. Over on the left, what am I? I'm a buyer. There's me, Bold Journey. We already put that campaign on. And remember where our actions are, everybody, when I'm looking at a contact record is over on the far, far right. Far, far right. Now you can see I've been doing some nonsense here. Let me just remove all these. You should just be seeing one, and it should be that system default buyer. That's for our test. I'm not going to, at the time we have, show you how to set up a search alert because, number one, I'm sure you know how to do this. You can send 5 separate search alerts per contact. Go ahead and click plus add and build your alert. In the area, you're going to type in what you're looking for. Don't expect a drop down because you won't get it. But keyword search it. There's county, city, area, neighborhood, San Diego, for example. Right? So build one of these. Build a real one. Average price in your area where most people are looking, where you do business. When you add that, you're 2/3 done, because what I'm going to ask you to do is actually click on a search alert that you get, go to your website, click on a property, and save it as a favorite. We can all do that, right? And that's how you're going to really see how this thing whole works. Because not only are you going to see here on the timeline that, oh, he actually opened my email, I'm going to also be notified that you just saved a property as a favorite, or I just saved a property as a favorite. And then finally, market reports, same as a search alert. This is all connected to your MLS, folks. That's where this data is pulling from. I'd click a plus add on market reports. I would search for my location, whatever that may be. I can only do one area at a time for market reports, but I could do multiple areas for a search alert. I could either create 5 separate. I could have one in San Diego, one in Escondido, one in Vista, one in San Marcos, or include all those in one. But a market report, as you saw, I'll just show it to you, is, what is this? Doesn't matter. I'll just explain it. Our time's dwindling. Sorry. You can, and I want you to test this. You have 4 different frequencies, a week, 2, 3, or a month. Add it. Now you're done. This is how you're going to see what do those campaigns look like. How does that search alert work? How do those reports work? This is our best place to start. Along the way, I would challenge you all. I have 1 minute. Hashtag her now. Just to see how it is. You can just write in test hashtag if you want it. Just to see how it looks. Now, you can delete these as you want. Only you see them. Some of my examples were 1 to 3 months. Enter. Tagged. Searchable. Filterable. Pre-approved, tag, searchable. Looking in San Diego, tagged, searchable. I just got a listing in San Diego. Give me everybody that has the hashtag San Diego. You see what I mean? Okay, there it is. Delaney, if you're still out there, is there any outstanding questions? I hit you up on Slack. If you do, I know we only have a minute, but I don't want to leave anyone hanging. I know looks like a lot of discussion out there in the chat. Folks, I don't see any of that, just so you know. No one could do anything without Delaney, at least me. So hopefully we'll see if I get any hit on that. But the next class, check your EXP calendars, please. Same time. I was at 11 a.m. Pacific when this started on Wednesday. And we're going to go next level. We're going to do some cool stuff with templates. I think it's going to be time well spent. Is recorded, will be made available to you via EXP team. My thanks to Juan and everyone out there for helping. I'm going to call this a wrap. Oh, wait. I see it, Delaney. About new leads and how to get them on a campaign. Okay. Great question. Thank you for asking that. Tells me you're thinking about it. Anybody that signs up on your website is considered a new lead. Let's remember that. I know that we're adding one per my example, but I just want to get this out of the way. If I signed up on your website right now, I either come in as a buyer or seller new lead. If you turned on that campaign or one of them that's for new leads, because there's like 3 separate ones, I recommended that we all did the system default buyer and there's a system default seller if you want to test it that way. But if I signed up on your website, as long as you turned it on, it automatically attaches. You don't have to do anything. True story. Now, if you've added some leads and they didn't sign up to your website, if I went over to my contacts, if it was a new lead buyer, what would I do? Well, first I'd sort on the left for new leads. So I got to make them all new leads because the campaigns are based on status and type. And then I'd make sure that they were all new lead buyers. And then I would say, show me all new lead buyers. I know it's a little fast, but I got to wrap it. It is recorded, that don't have a running campaign. So now here's all the new lead buyers that don't have a campaign. I have 3. So if I wanted to add them in mass, I could just select them over on the left, go to more actions up top, and add campaign in mass. As long as I sorted them down to status and type, I could do this in mass. Now, if I was just adding the contact manually, one by one, when you get opted for the smart campaigns, you click the drop down, you're going to see every one of the campaigns that you have turned on. You might have 50 in there, but if you only turned on 10, then 10's all you'd see. So if you don't see what you're looking for here, then you need to navigate over back to smart campaigns. So you're going to go, one way is marketing, smart campaigns, and then you're going to take a peek. If you don't see what you're looking for, number one, check on the right to see if it's turned on, because if it is turned on, then go back to your lead and then it will be available. Does that make sense? You just hit a refresh, really. Thanks for asking. That's a good one. Hey, remember, folks, you always have, if you're using the platform, live chat 7 days a week, lower right-hand corner. Thank you all for being here. It's been my pleasure. I hope to see you on Wednesday. Delaney, my thanks to you and all of you for your time. Have a good day.